Indian art, it clicked with me that it was also probably true about Western art as well. That even when religion was supplanted by the Reformation, or the official religion was overthrown or challenged, they still found a way to express art. They didn't do it in paintings. They destroyed the paintings, they destroyed the statues, they destroyed the artifacts, but they did it in singing, in hymns. They tried to simplify everything. Every once in a while the iconoclasts come along. The same thing happened in Byzantium 1,000 years earlier, exactly almost 1,000 years earlier, where the iconoclasts got hold of the art, because the art is powerful. You see, it as a symbol, it's magical, it's a totem. They took that art and they had to destroy it because it was dangerous. Great art disturbs me? Yes. Great art is dangerous. Picasso said it when he said that I use art as a weapon, an offensive weapon, but also a defensive weapon against the world. And in that sense, that when you're on this journey of finding your own core of essential being that wants to express your ideas, and you want to do them as well as you can do them, you have to teach yourself. You have to teach yourself. You have to set a goal for yourself. And if you keep it original to yourself and not influenced by any outside source, because that's the other key of really being important as an artist. Be original. Be totally original. Don't be influenced by anything else. You may like a certain artist, and God knows I've had many artists I admired, and I tried to understand techniques from them. But I knew there was always the danger if I got too influenced by them, I would lose my own originality, my own original vision. So it's a fine line you have to walk. But in today's age, when you have these machines that can put you in touch with an encyclopedia that's 10 miles long, you can use it for everything. You can use it for every model you want to make. And you can learn from it, and you can Google something or Yahoo something and find out what it's all about. As a teaching tool, it's so magnificent, it's beyond belief, really, to me. I was long believed in books, one of the black spots of my existence.
It's not a black spot.
Books are the great liars, unfortunately.
Wow.
In many cases, and this is the trouble with it. But to get back to the list, let's get this list done and then we can get to work on our thing. Polishing the polish. Sfumato, softness. Softness is an important thing. Get it soft. It's like good makeup. It's soft, it's not hard edge. When it's hard edge, woo. You blend that makeup. You blend it. And that's what you have to do with your pictures. Now, the illusion of depth. This is another wonderful thing that's forgotten. Flatness. Clement Greenberg came along in the 1950s and said every art should be flat. These guys who are very highly thought of critics make these pronouncements, and everybody for a while thinks, yeah, maybe he's right, art shouldn't be flat. When the whole idea of the Renaissance was that you invented perspective, so that art had that nature of being a window through which you looked into a picture. And they performed wonderful things with the invention of perspective. And one of them was the sfumato of Leonardo, how as a thing goes in the distance, it becomes bluer and lighter and bluer and lighter and bluer and lighter. But these little tricks were forgotten by the Clement Greenbergians, who decided art must be flat. We got a lot of pretty boring art for a while. So stay away from the fads. Do what you like to do. Do what you like. Don't be influenced by, oh, this would be better, this is so. And once you start selling your work, you're going to have other real pitfalls. They're going to say, give me another pussycat. Give me another floral arrangement. Give me a little girl with daisies in her hair. This is the gallery going to put pressure on you to give them the things that they've been selling of yours. So they're going to try to direct you. Now, if you want to be a commercial artist, then you should leave this class immediately, because we're not in for training commercial artists. We're in for training fine artists in neo-symbolist principles. Now, finally, the expression of subtle emotions. Your work should have ambiguity and mystery. It should be intriguing. What is she thinking? What are those eyes telling me? What are those lips telling me? What is that one raised eyebrow saying? What does it mean? What is it? And then if you can play with the other dimensions of naming your work, giving your work an identity. Now sometimes I write them on, like John likes to write his words on, and there's a lot of good to that. It can be overused and it's dangerous, but every once in a while I'll put a word on or words on. And in this case, as I was making her, I began to realize what she meant to me. And so I decided to call it Jezebel. Now, what is a Jezebel? A painted woman, a whore, a streetwalker, a harlot. That's the popular reaction to when someone says she's a Jezebel or she acts like Jezebel. But I was curious. I didn't think that was quite right, so I looked it up on the internet. Who is Jezebel really? Huh? And I found out, yeah, it was completely wrong because she had nothing to do with being a prostitute. She was the wife of a king called Ahab, who was later on famous, as we had said, in Herman Melville, because Ahab is the famous apostate, the one who left his religion. Left is too mild a word, abandoned his religion. That's what Ahab did. That's why Ahab is this wonderful character in Moby Dick. So when you start making all these links to things, and you see how the facets of knowledge interact and make everything seem more and more holistic, this is what we're after. If this art is going to be anything good, it's got to be speaking on so many levels and in such subtle ways that it intrigues people to want to look, to want to be drawn into it and to want to think about it, to be able to think that that face you make is thinking. That's the secret. That's what Leonardo taught in his codexes. Again and again, he said, make them look. And why is the Mona Lisa the top of the heap? Why? You know, it's just another portrait. There are millions of portraits. There's something about the fact that he worked on it for nearly 20 years. It was constantly with him. He put subtle layer after layer after layer after layer. It's so subtle in the end of the day. You look at the Mona Lisa and you say, oh, she looks just like so-and-so or so-and-so. There's not much difference. Raphael was just as good, so-and-so. Not true. The subtlety of whatever mystery goes into how many masks he put onto that face gives that depth of ambiguity, that depth of mystery, that expression of very, very subtle emotions. Is she smiling? Is she not smiling? So, I have just about another not even 5 minutes of a little speech I'm just going to read off now, all right? So this is it. Why make art? It is obviously therapeutic. Refer to Churchill. We were talking about Churchill. We saw a film on him the other day. You guys missed it. But he was a big devotee of art, which is not really appreciated because he never sold anything, never showed anything until the very end. And yet he's done, as the fellow said, more paintings than most professional artists. So he was obsessed with art, Churchill, because he understood it to be therapeutic. He had all these pressures of World War II especially. Most of World War II was spent in his garret painting to escape the pressures. It relieved the pressures. And pressure is not a good thing, as we all know. So it is therapeutic, no question about it. And even in somebody like him, who was not really a creative artist, he was a copyist. He copied art, he copied the landscape or whatever, which is a talent and it can be beautifully done. And he did some very nice things. But that's not great art. Great art is transformative. Great art really deals with the human being more, but deals with the depth of the emotions that make us human. All right, it is moreover wonderfully fulfilling. It produces a tangible artifact, something to handle or see. As with all things, the role of the artist can be a road, rocky and full of potholes. However, when it is allowed to be art for art's sake, famous phrase that came up during the Ruskin-Whistler debacle. And Whistler, I think it was Whistler who coined the term "art for art's sake." Anyway, it's a good phrase because it really means it's only for itself. It's not for the marketplace, it's not to please the neighbors, it's not to show off. It's for you to be happy with what you're doing. And that is, to me, to my mind now, after all this experience of these many years, it is the pinnacle of happiness. To be free to take risks. And this is the other part. It is being not afraid to fail. It is not afraid to take chances, to take risks, to explore the depths of your own psyche. There are all kinds of arts and all kinds of artists, from the highly materialistic and commercial to the extremely esoteric and impenetrable. Your job is to rediscover that ancestral self in yourself, replicated over the eons of time to the limits of your unconscious. Take us back to the genesis of the human spirit, and you have your subject matter. If every work of art is in some way only a self-portrait, then yours must be the true hidden self, which is unique and yet at the same time universal. Now, let's get on with the critique. Who's got a tablet in here besides me? You can shut it off for a while.